Hey, everybody, and welcome to our new and reinvented weekly team call. As for just a little bit of purposes of review and give you an idea kind of where we're going here. We did team calls for eons. Both of us did, actually. And for me, it was, 2009 until I think 2014. Pretty consistently. I enjoyed doing them, and I think they added a lot of value. The big problem I had was that they happen at night, and at some point, I had to kind of reclaim my evenings. And so team calls kind of came to a halt, and started doing some different things. Started just kind of going live in the group weekly, posting content on the coach training blog and a lot of that different stuff. Things have calmed down a little bit. We want to get back to doing this weekly call. So Ryan and I have been talking about it for a while and have decided that Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to come in here. We're going to do a live. Got a few other ideas that we're working on as part of that, considering turning it into a podcast. For those of you guys who like the podcast format, I know I listen to probably an hour and a half of podcast content a day. And it's usually just walking my dog. I take the dog for a walk, put the earbuds in, and I listen to the national call. I never listen to the national call live. I always listen to it on podcast, and then all the other sort of podcasts that I like to get in my personal development. So excited to come back and talk to you guys and have Ryan join me every week as a co-presenter. So Ryan, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing for me. Did team calls from probably more like 2011 or 12 for quite a few years there. And the struggle with team calls always is, we've got 3 hours of time difference across the country. We're going to have even more once we start having people in the UK, right? We're going to have how are you going to get people in the UK on the same team call, right? And so a lot of times attendance live was low, and listening to the recordings was higher than attendance live. But for us doing the presenting, we were tied to a very specific time every week in the evening. And so like Tuesday nights at 5:30 or Thursday nights at 5 o'clock, when I had my team call for a long time, it was always like my wife was coming home at like 4:40 from work, and I'd be like, okay, I've got everything out on the kitchen for dinner. Here's what you need to do. I've got it set for you, because I'm the one at home. So I'm usually doing the, dinner plans, but I can't cook the dinner, because if I cook it at 4 o'clock, then, it's ready too early. And so I'm like, okay, here's all your dinner things. I'm going upstairs. I'm doing the team call. Keep the kids quiet. I'll eat after, and it's just like, and then some people are saying, hey, 5 o'clock's too early. I'm not home from work yet. And the other side of the country is saying it's 8 o'clock and I'm trying to put my kids to bed, So it's, it's a difficult thing to get people on live. So why worry about trying to get more people on live and trying to push people to do it, when we can do it live at a time when we know that not a lot of people are going to be able to, but some will, and just push more towards the podcast style thing, like the recording, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're thinking. So.
Yeah, the UK it's a very good point. There's no there's no good time to do all of that, except bad times for everybody. So it just makes more sense
They might be on more at 11 a.m. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what the time difference is exactly. It's like 7 hours.
8 hours. 8 hours. Well, it's 8 hours from here. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
So we're going to go to this format. We're going to do a little Q&A today. I want to create an easy way to facilitate that in the future, so that you guys can submit questions. Even if you can't be on the call, doesn't mean we can't answer your questions. We just need to have a little bit of a submission form or something like that keeps things pretty simple, and you can submit your questions, and then we can get into it and we can talk about those. Those are really going to help us guide the content. I can guess what you guys need to hear or want to hear about, but it's really going to help us more if we have a little bit more interaction, whether it's on the calls or in advance of the calls, so that we have a little more direction. That's always been kind of, I think of my blog this way. I think my blog honestly is one big FAQ, and it's just a customer would ask me a question. Instead of answering them one-on-one, I would go and write a blog post about it and then send them the link. And then pretty soon I had the next time somebody asked me the question, I could just send them the link to the blog post. And that's kind of what some of this will be. So we're going to open it up for a little bit of Q&A towards the end. Right now, I want to kind of jump in and I want to talk about the Healthy Bod Challenge. So the Healthy Bod Challenge, for those of you guys who have been kind of dialed into this whole thing, has been going really, really well. We've had a little snafu here or there with voting. Part of that was caused by the 4th of July. Another part was caused by a crazy update that my web host did that we didn't know about that caused some sort of snag in the plugin. But generally, things have gone really smoothly. Generally, people have been really happy with it. I know I had just this last month, one of my customers won, and it turned into a huge opportunity for me because she's really been thinking about getting Recover. And that's, she ultimately decided instead of getting the sample pack, she just wanted to have some orange Recover. And so I was like, great. And it became a Recover sale for me, which was awesome. And it can be some similar for you. You know, the way we have the prizes structured, the top 3 are money prizes, then it's a t-shirt and a kind of a rotating prize, which will be samples of Performance Line or something like a boost or something like that. Got a lot of different things that we're going to get people. Really leverage that, you know, figure out how you can best use that to help people go down this journey of customer to coach. I also think we've done a really good job. I'm really happy with the amount of coaches who are participating. I think that's been a really important thing that we did, was to say, hey, we're going to open this up to coaches, acknowledging that most of us are just on a fitness journey too. You know, just because there's a coach next to my name doesn't mean I'm at the end, you know, and I'm just never I don't need to do that anymore. It's still, you know, for all of us, I think, something to encourage. So things I think have gone well. I think if there's any sort of place that maybe we got a little bit stuck, it's the 30-day time frame on it. And if there's a problem with that, I don't necessarily know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a problem. If there's a problem with that, the problem is in 30 days, there's just a limited amount of results people can reasonably get. We've seen some actually, I think, phenomenal transformation stories, but we thought about making some changes in a way to address that. And Ryan, why don't you talk about kind of where we're going?
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, we've been doing this 30-day thing, and the one of the reasons for the 30 days is because if you did like an every other month thing, we kind of have this dead month in there where it's like, okay, some people would be like, hey, why hasn't the voting started? And we'd be like, oh, this is the off month, you know, and that would just be like, I wouldn't want that to happen. So it was like, let's do it every month. So it's just like every month we have voting, every month we have the thing. And so then it just makes sense, like, okay, start on the 1st, end on the end, whatever, 30th or 31st, and that's your results. But like you were saying, you know, we have a limited amount of results that you can get, and 60 days is kind of, you know, 2 months is, you can get some pretty dramatic results in 2 months, right? And so it was actually my wife. I'll give my wife some credit on here. I was like, oh, what if we do what if we do 2 months, and how do we do this? And she's like, well, why can't you just have voting every month, but people can submit up to a 60-day result transformation, you know? So like basically what we're going towards is you'll be able to submit either 30-day or 60-day results for the voting every month. So imagine, like, let's just take a scenario, maybe that will help people understand it, because this can be almost as confusing as, oh, it's every other month, right? There can be some confusion here. But let's just say, can you guys still hear me? Because I'm getting an internet connection.
Yep, you're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. So let's just say somebody starts on September 1st with you, and they're in your group for the Healthy Bod Challenge, and they're planning to put their results in. At the end of September, so at the beginning of September, they take pictures. At the end of September, they take pictures. They can submit those results, and they will be able to put 30-day results into the challenge for the end of September. Now, at the end of October, they can take another set of pictures, and they can use the September 1 pictures and the October 30 pictures and enter the one that ends at the end of October with 60-day results, right? So they, they'll be able to enter both of those things. So they don't have to enter the 30 days if they're like, yeah, my results weren't that great, I don't really want to enter, but why not? You could anyway. And then 60 days they can enter again. Now, at the end of November, they can't use September 1 results and November results 90 days. They could use October 1 to November 30th and use those 60 days. So there's going to be a place, I don't know the details of, has Janet even worked on the form and stuff? I think there's going to be a place to put like, when was this before picture taken? When was this after picture taken? Or this is a 30-day result, this is a 60-day result or something.
Yeah, there'll be a way to make it clear.
Yeah. So when people are voting, they'll be able to see whether they're 30-day results or 60-day results and take that into account, right? But I think that the cool thing about it is it's really going to help us with showing potential customers what this challenge can do. Because when you're showing 30-day results pictures and saying, this is who won last time, some of them are good and there's good results there, but they're not dramatic, right? They're not as dramatic as 60-day ones are going to be. So you're going to be able to go out there and say, hey, join my challenge. You could win up to $300. Here's what the last person did. And they're going to be more like, whoa, holy crap, right?
Yeah, and one thing to just keep in mind is we have a rule that you can only win once every 6 months. So you wouldn't be able to win the 30-day and the 60-day. But of course, if you win the 30-day, you won. So you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So one thing to just keep in mind, keep that in your mind as you're talking to your customers as well. Make sure they know that. We had a couple of people who were early winners who resubmitted. And this is actually one of the other things that sparked when Ryan brought this to me. I was like, man, this is exactly the situation we're in, where we had somebody who was, I think, maybe a second or third place winner, and she kept going. Like her 30-day results were really good, obviously good enough to have the community vote in favor of her, and she kept going. And her 60-day results were really awesome. I mean, 30-day was great, but the 60 was really outstanding. And it was like, oh, sorry, you can't win again. And we just started to think, if we had this larger time frame that people were allowed to submit over the 60-day time period, it would be better. The other thing, just from kind of a coaching perspective, is it gives you a couple of opportunities. I think the first opportunity it gives you is that if you have somebody who does day 1, day 30, and then takes their new day ones essentially at the end of day 30 and keeps going, they've got that whole other period of time to get the results that are really outstanding, that they're really going to be like, hey, these are the ones I want to put on Facebook and have people vote for me. Because I think that's maybe one of the things is that people are kind of like, yeah, I'd love to submit. I'd love to win. I'm going to be a little hesitant to put my pictures on Facebook because the transformation isn't that dramatic. And we're so used to seeing the Beachbody Challenge transformations, which are just amazing in so many ways. So I think this opens up a little bit of things. So basically the big change we're making is you're allowed to submit a 60-day transformation now. You could also submit a 30-day, and again, we'll have a way to just mark that. But I think that's pretty straightforward, and it'll kind of play out. We'll be starting that. When are we starting that, Ryan? That starts September 1st then?
Yeah.
September 1st, that'll start. So voting, the first 60-day will be,
September. Yeah, October 1st through 3rd is when they'll start submitting. So basically, if you have people doing August right now, right, who took photos at the beginning of August, they can submit at the end of August, the beginning of September for the August challenge, but they could also take those August 1st photos and go all the way to the end of September and submit again in September with 60-day photos, if that makes sense. So
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, there you go.
This is why I have Ryan on this call with me. It's a way of making things very simple that I tend to overcomplicate in my busy little mind. So let's open it up really quickly and just do a little bit of Q&A. Anybody have questions? Oh, go ahead. Yes.
I think we should, I want to talk a little bit, unless you were already going to do this after Q&A, I want to talk a little bit about tips on how to market or how to get people into the Healthy Bod Challenger, if you don't mind.
Actually, I have something else I want to talk about after Q&A, so let's talk about that right now, because I do want to hear these. I need to get my notebook.
Okay. So there's some things. First of all, you've got you've got some graphics that have been made by Janet that are in the files. I'll be perfectly honest with you here. Different things connect with different people. When I put graphics up, I get crickets. Some other people I see put graphics up and they get tons of interaction. I don't know what that is all about, but you've got to try some different things and find what works for you. What works for me and what has been working mostly for my team is a very simple, no details, pretty vague, interest building Facebook post that's just text that says, I'm starting this challenge on September 1st. There's opportunity to win cash prizes, for your transformation. And basically, if you want details, let me know, kind of thing. It's, you got to word that yourself. I'm not going to give you the exact wording, but basically a vague Facebook post that says, I've got a challenge. There's an opportunity to win money for your transformation. It's amazing. You should join me. And then you talk to people one-on-one. Okay. So if somebody says, what are the details in the comments? Do not post the entire details of the entire challenge in the comments. Message that person and have a one-on-one conversation with that person about how the challenge works. I had, for the last few, I've had like a copy and paste message that kind of builds a little bit more. It gives them a little bit more information and builds a little bit more excitement with a question at the end. And that's the first thing that I send them. So it'll be something like, hey, so the deal is with this challenge, we go for 30 days. We're going to be in a Facebook group together. We're going to keep each other accountable. And the leaders on our team have put together a prize pool for the best transformations. So you take pictures at the beginning, you take pictures at the end, you submit them to a website. If you get the most votes, you could win up to $300. How does that sound? Or do you have questions? Or what do you think of that? Like a question at the end that gets the dialogue coming back the other way. So it's Facebook post that builds curiosity. Send them a message when they say, yes, I want to know more. Make sure there's a question at the end so that they come back with more, not just like, here's all the details with no question at the end, because then a lot of times you get crickets after that because they'll make their decision and not respond. Like you don't want them to make their decision based on one message. You want to have a dialogue with people. You want to have a back and forth. You want to have well, here's the basic idea. What do you think of that? Oh, well, that sounds interesting. How much does it cost? Oh, okay. Well, there's several ways to get in, blah, 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 blah. What works best for you? That's dialogue, right? It's back and forth, back and forth. So I think it's best to do something that builds curiosity and then take it to Messenger and have a dialogue back and forth. That's what's working for me and my team mostly that I see out there. Is the best things are quick Facebook posts that create dialogue on Messenger. You don't see all the details in the comments. You see, yes, I want to know more, and then a reply that says, I'm sending you a PM, right? That's what's working the best. Let's see, any other tips for that? I guess the only other thing that I would say is not necessarily a tip for doing it, but I really, really, really encourage you to use this if you're having trouble with, unless you have your own unique thing that is really working for you right now, use this, because what you see out there on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere right now is all the coaches saying, I have a Shift Shop Challenge group starting on this day, join my Shift Shop Challenge group. Or I have a 21-day fix challenge group starting on this day. Or they have a challenge group starting, right? They don't have the uniqueness of this Healthy Bod Challenge thing. And part of what's always brought me the most success is having something different than what everyone else, every other coach out there on Facebook is doing. These coaches are, a lot of them, it's just, I have this group, it's all centered around this product, this one product or this one group of products or whatever, and it's all centered on the Beachbody products. It's not centered on something unique to you and your team that you're doing. And this Healthy Bod Challenge creates that for all of us. It's different, it's unique. So if you're having that kind of trouble, use it that way. Nobody else is doing it. So.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I'll say this about the graphics. I'm kind of similar. My for whatever reason, my Facebook page graphics do well. On my
Yeah.
personal, they don't. I get the same thing. Nobody even seems to see them.
Yeah.
Where I have found them very effective is within my challenge group. And
Uh,
especially because somebody from my group won, was the fifth place person. By the way, I should say this: I don't vote. I don't vote. Okay,
yeah.
so she won all on her own. I had nothing to do with me. I don't vote. um, but the that's where it was really effective, was getting in there and sharing with them. And what I think really got the ball rolling was I was telling their stories. So I was just taking the graphic, we got the graphics with the winners that have the their pictures on them, and just pulling a little bit of the story from their submission on the site, and just sort of saying, here's this person, here's they did 30 days, they won $300. Why would you not submit for this thing? Whoops. Yeah, you're already doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do the thing? And then this month, taking her story and saying, look, I've already had a winner from the group. Like, there's proof that this thing is real and works, and you could be doing it too. And here's her results. And they've obviously seen her results like crazy, because she's probably the most active person I have in my group. Mm-hmm. That, I think, has been a really effective way to use those graphics, is not so much to just have a, like, here's this thing, and the graphics are kind of busy, right? So it's like, oh, that thing is, whoa, later. Okay, keep going, keep going. So I do think the way Ryan is talking about doing it, one second. I do think the way that Ryan is talking about doing it is a more effective way to leverage the Healthy Bod Challenge, is this post of like, hey, I'm starting, and I like one little tip I'll give you too, because I've seen what Ryan's doing. It's structured in that classic "if I would you" format, right? And it's like, if I started a challenge that was a 60-day challenge where you could win money prizes, would you, make some commitments, whatever those things are, or would you be interested in hearing more information? I think even better, would you be interested in hearing some more information about that? Comment below. And it's a simple, and I've seen a couple of different varieties of what Ryan's doing. Please don't think there's some sort of magic in the language, because it really isn't. It's more about continuing to post on a consistent basis, and then the people who are interested, making sure that you're following up with them in the format that Ryan talked about. Not, oh, thanks for your interest in the Healthy Bod Challenge, right? Like, it's more like, okay, let's talk about you. What's going on? Are you currently doing something? Maybe you're working with them already. I know in a lot of cases, it seems like I've already worked with somebody, or I'm working with them currently, and they're kind of coming back, to that. So it's a good opportunity for me to reconnect with those people, or to connect with the new people who are sort of going, wow, what's this all about? And ultimately, sometimes you find out, hey, they've already got a coach and they're working with somebody already, and that's their jam, and it's not a coach on our team. And that's just the breaks. This thing is really designed to help you guys. And so in order to do that, we really need to limit it to our coaches and our customers here in the Fit Club Network, and all of the sort of sub teams that have sprung up under us.
Yep. I think that really works though, when you post like that. The only, I think most of you know this, but it works much better if in between those posts, you are providing value to your Facebook audience. Because if those are the only posts, they're still going to get crickets. If it's, here's me drinking my Shakeology, here's me doing my workout, if I would you join this challenge, and then here's my Shakeology, here's me working out, would you join this challenge? And you just keep doing that, then you're going to get crickets anyway. There has to be value in between, So if you watch my Facebook page, it's like, what did I learn in my personal development this morning? Just normal life stuff. What's going on with my kids? Look how cute my kids are, because they're pretty cute. Like it's that kind of stuff that I'm doing. And people are like, I like this guy. At least a few are like, I like this guy, and he seems to be, he seems to know some stuff here and there. He seems to be trying to better himself. And then I post about the challenge, and they're like, you know what? I think I would like to know more about that. It seems like he's going somewhere. It seems like he's getting people results. It seems like he's, trying to get better. Right. So you got to have that overall. And that's kind of like, that's that social media 101, and like, 67 seconds or something.
Awesome. Okay. So I want to open up to questions really quickly. I see we got a lot of people who are, if you can chat it up. If you can't, is there a way to like raise your hand or something? I don't know if there is, but just type in the chat. If you have a question, I'll just kind of hold here for a second. And then if not, I have some questions for Ryan. Oh, here we go. Nick is asking for the Healthy Bod Challenge. If somebody wins 5th place for 30 days, they cannot win first for 60. That's correct. Yeah, the way we have it set up, you can only win once every 6 months. So there's going to probably be some decision making about that for some people, about whether they want to submit ahead of time or not, or wait for the full 60 days. And we debated that. But I think ultimately what we're going to end up with is more stories to share that have a bigger impact and get more people excited about going on this journey.
We could discuss, I don't think we want to necessarily make any changes right now, but we could discuss the idea of now that we're having a 30 and a 60 day, that you can win once for 30 and once for 60 or something like that. That way, if you win fifth place at 30, then you still have a chance to win $300 for your 60. No commitments on that, but we could discuss it. I mean, it is a kind of a different thing we're doing now with 30 and 60 day. So.
True. Let me make a note. Good point, Nick. We'll talk about it. Any other questions? Doesn't have to be about Healthy Bod Challenge either. This is kind of open forum time. So if you've got a question about something, this is a good place and time to get it answered.
How do you get new customers?
You make a list, use it. Yeah, how do you get new customers? I think that's a good question. I'll answer Nick's question first, and then I'll get to that. Nick's second question is, any advice for an old fat guy to start coaching? Yeah. Obviously go through the coach training website at fcncoachtraining.com, which I think you're already doing. And dig in with the 4 vital behaviors. I think first and foremost, you've got to be proof the product works. And that does not mean, and has never meant for me, looking like Shaun T. That's not something that I aspire to. And it's not something, well, I suppose I could, but it's not something that I aspire to, and what it means for me is being really consistent with my health and fitness and being athletic. That's really what it's about for me. And I think I've done a good job of defining that for people. So they know, hey, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to, become some sort of a fitness model, right? That's really where I think things start, is building your own story around Shakeology and our fitness programs and documenting that. I think it's incredibly important. If Jimmy Hayes Nelson, who's a guy you'll get to know, Nick, because he's around our team a lot, one of my best friends. And Jimmy talks about your first 7 days. What's your first 7 day story look like? From the day you started taking Shakeology, documenting those things and going along the day and say, wow, 7 days ago, I've lost 3 or 4 pounds in 7 days, whatever. I have more energy, whatever it is that your story builds around, okay, is, I think, the best way to really get started. During the meantime, I think it's about learning, it's about digging in, learning the information, figuring out kind of what the things are you have to do. The other 3 of the 4 vital behaviors, invite, recognition, and doing personal development. The personal development, Ryan mentioned this earlier, becomes a great opportunity to add value. Just this morning, I got up at like 5 and I was kind of moping around the house, a little groggy, getting some coffee. And I was like, I'll put on the 4 Agreements, an audiobook I listened to probably in 2010 and had in my library. And I was like, I have not listened to this for quite a while, and I know it's really good. I started listening to the 4 Agreements. I ended up listening to it for about 2.5 hours this morning as I was doing another project. And I posted just a little graphic that has the 4 Agreements on it, which are be impeccable with your word, don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And I got a ton of reaction out of that from people. Some of them were people that I had prompted to read the book. And they were like, you told me to read that book, and I love that book, and here's why I love that book. that adds value to their experience. And then it ended up sort of edifying me, because it was like, you told me to read that book and I read that book and that book was really good. So when I come back and say, hey, go do this, like the next thing I did was, after I worked out, I'm like, you need to go get a heart rate monitor. People may be more apt to listen to me when I say these things, because somebody said, hey, I did what he said to do, and that turned out to be a really good thing to do. So I think that's really kind of a big piece of it, is really starting with getting your own story. Let me get to, I want to get into the how do I get customers though, because I do think it's incredibly important, especially when you're new. As you're going through that journey, as you're getting your results, as you're building your own story, and you're telling that story, people around you are going to start to notice. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. That's going to happen. I mean, it's just going to happen. If you get some really great fitness results, people are going to reach out to you. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of us, where people go, wow, what did you do? Like, you look amazing, whether that's at work or church or whatever social clubs you may be involved with. That happens, but don't wait. Write their names down on a list and systematically go through the list and use the invitation process that we've given you at the FCN Coach Training site, and reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I'm doing this thing. I'm wondering if you'd be interested. If I sent you some information, would you be interested in taking a look at it? Very simple, very short sort of invitation process. Ryan, you have more on that?
Yeah, I think that the thing for you, Nick, is you got to think about it like you're on a journey, and other people are going to watch you go on that journey, and they're going to wish that they were on the journey with you. They're not going to wish that you could finish the journey so that you can then show them how to go on the same journey. They're going to want to go with you on that journey. And you just always have to be right there or just a step ahead, right? You're leading the journey. So think about all the people who are just like you, who haven't started yet. Think about you, 6 months ago. Who are those people? And you're now starting. You're just like, come with me, come with me, come with me. It's not, let me get done so that I can come back and get you and show you all the stuff that I did along this journey. It's like, come with me now on this journey. And if you have that kind of thought going through your head, like, come with me now, then people are going to want to come with you. As long as you stay consistent with it and you keep going, with the exception of, sometimes you fall off a little bit, but like, you can't stop for 6 months and expect people to trust you. You have to keep going and build that trust with people that, you're going on this journey, whether they come or not. But you'd really love for them to come with you. And so that's what you're doing when you're reaching out to people, is you're like, dude, this is like, I'm going somewhere awesome, let's go. And they'll come. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, and I'm just building on kind of what Ryan said. I think one thing, and I think building on what I said too, right? I don't have aspirations to look like Shaun T. So I don't eat like Shaun. I certainly don't work out like Shaun. And I do from time to time kind of get, I'm tired of this. I don't feel like working out this week, And one of the things that when I'm talking to you, especially with prospects, if they start to talk to me about accountability and that's something that is important to them, one of the things I tell them, I'm like, this business has kept me in great shape. I'm not in Shaun T shape, but for a 45-year-old man, I'm in really good shape. I did a 37-minute workout on the beach today. I burned 530 calories. Not very many 45-year-olds can do that. Why is that? It's this business, because I never get too far away from it, right? Because I know exactly what Ryan said is 100% true. If I stop working out for 6 months, my business goes to hell in a handbasket, So I can't do that, right? I've got to stay consistent on some level. And it's not always every single day of every 365, but I never get too far away from it. And the reason is because of this business. And it's kept me, for a 45-year-old guy, I'm in good shape, And it's one of the things I really love about being a coach, is it's helped me to really stay accountable. Yeah. So good. I think that was valuable. That was a good discussion. This is the type of stuff, like, when you guys come to us with questions, whether you can come on live or post them in advance, then we'll set up a little structure for that. That helps us to get you this information and get it out there. And I love what Ryan had to say about that. So as we kind of wrap up here, because I want to keep these 40 to 45 minutes. One of the other things that we're going to be doing throughout the course of this is bringing on some coaches to interview. And sometimes that'll be somebody from another team. I've done a lot of team calls for people, and I'm sure they'll be more than willing to reciprocate, and there'll be, the Christina Delgados of the world who come and do the call. What I really want to focus on, though, is you and your stories and helping us get to know each other. I think we get a little bit of that at Summit, where you go and, maybe you've seen somebody posting in a group and maybe your friends on Facebook. But when you get together live, there's this sort of cohesive glue that brings everybody together. And you're like, oh, yeah, I know who you are. And I want more of that. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to bring the team call back. And every week I have 2 questions that I'm going to ask people. And so I'm going to ask Ryan this week. So I'm completely springing this on him. I'll answer the questions too. So my first question is, what have you done in the last week or so that has advanced your personal business? So not your team, but your, Ryan Chapman Inc.
Well, actually, it's honestly, I was excited to talk about the Healthy Bod Challenge because that's what I'm doing, right? I mean, that's really what I'm doing right now, is pushing the Healthy Bod Challenge. And I've signed up several people with challenge packs for September, and several with just all access for September. And so that's pushed the business forward. I think, we were talking yesterday about the whole challenge pack idea and and then I just saw it in the roundtable actually too, somebody talking about, I think it was Leslie Cordes was talking about how, we've pushed the challenge pack idea for so hard for so long that we have lost the idea that other purchases are valuable at all. And so I hesitate to push this idea too much, because I don't want people to fall back from challenge packs too quickly. But one of the things that I've been doing is I'm pushing hard towards a challenge pack for my September challenge. If they come back hard with objections that I can't overcome, I find a way to get them in with all access, or at least all access. And then I go with Energize next, because I think we have more than just challenge packs, right? Like all access by itself, great tool. Even if it's the 2-week free trial and the quarterly thing, and they can't commit to the full year, whatever it is, if you can get them in with all access on a 2-week free trial, put them in your September group, have them win $125 to $150 for second place, or $25 for third place, or something like that. You now have a conversation for Shakeology again, and you have a conversation for Performance Line and stuff. So I've had a lot of success over the last couple months with doing that, where I'm just like, look, I've got my super special group that's doing the challenge packs and is fully committed, and I'm putting them on the challenge tracker app. And then I've got my people who are like, I can only do, this much. Okay, let's get you on a workout program. So that's what's really working for me right now is, get them in the door, put them on a list so that I'm like, which I'm terrible about, by the way. So if you're not like, we talk lists, that doesn't mean that we're good at it. That just means that that's the right way to do it. It just means that you should, if I suck at it, but I've got them kind of on a list of some sort, whether it's up here or whatever, of people that are just on the all access, that now I'm going to have a conversation at the end of September about, okay, what about the Shakeology now? So.
Yeah. And for me, it was a Healthy Bod Challenge post that somebody said, sure, started talking to this guy. Turns out really interested in Body Beast. Cool. Done that. Know all about that. Had a conversation about Body Beast that matured into a conversation about On Demand. And then that's it. I was like, okay, what supplements are you going to use? And we just had a back and forth. And he's like, I've used some stuff in the past and it was just garbage. And I'm like, look, you can use that garbage, or for $160, you've got the all access, that's right there. Like, and Energize, Recover, showed him the value in those things. He started Body Beast yesterday. He messaged me this morning. This guy, he's like, okay, great. So I can't brush my hair now. So I'm excited about him. He's also super interested in becoming a coach, which is another value play for me. As soon as he mentioned maybe becoming a coach, I'm like, look, you've got to get the challenge pack. It's another $40 you cut off of your ultimate cost, because they're going to waive that sign up fee if you get a challenge pack. So that was a big win for me in my personal business. Now, second question is, what have you done for your team this week in focusing on helping them grow?
I started a team call with Dave Ward.
Nice.
No, let me think about that. I've been doing, I think, well, you're in there. I started a new group from my team page. I like broke off a new team page. Yeah. My team is Team Rhino. And so we had Team Rhino coaching for the last, 5-6 years. We've had this page. There's quite a few hundred people in there. A lot of those, are not too active and stuff. And so when we came back from Summit, I just said, hey, I want the people who are ready to rock this. Like, who are those people? Let's go jump in a different group where we can share the heck out of everything. And, the other people who are, not really into it right now, that's cool. We'll still share some information about calls and stuff over here, but I want to like really share some stuff. And so since Summit in that group, it's just been like it's been a Ryan Chapman brain dump in that group. Really, it's just been like everything I think about coaching and what, all that kind of stuff. And so it's slowed down a little bit over the last couple of weeks, because I think, I've dumped most of it. But as I come across ideas and things like that, I just go in that group and I either go live or, write a long post and share, what I'm thinking about coaching or what's happening right now. So
awesome. Cool. And I also started a weekly team call with Ryan Chapman, which is I hope really valuable to you. The other thing I've been working on is the coach training website. This morning, as I was listening to the 4 agreements, put together an email autoresponder series that's going to go along with that. So it keeps prompting them. My light died. Keeps prompting them to come back to the site and do the work, and kind of keeping them, which was very effective with the old training website. When we got the new one, the old autoresponder had to go. So I got drafted a new 10 series thing that goes over a course of like 50 days now. And then I've also been working on taking the existing coach training website, and I see we've got Marie Claude on here today, and translating it over into a French version, which is turning out to be a big project. But I think it will be tremendously valuable. And obviously we have so many super successful people in Canada that if I can help create some structures for them that allows them to be successful, that's good. So if you're going to be on the team call in the future getting interviewed, you're going to be asked those 2 questions. So you should be ready to talk a little bit about some specifics of things you're doing to move your own business forward and things you're doing to move your team's growth forward. At some point, there's a real sort of equity there. You've always got to keep pushing your own business forward. You cannot get into what we refer to as management mode, where all you do is sort of, recognition and make sure that everybody's happy and build a website here, a website there. You've always got to keep pushing forward, bringing people onto the team that you personally sponsor, and also we're continuing to coach customers, continuing to get people started and connected to our solutions. So I think that's it for this week. Thanks for everybody who showed up live. Sorry for the short notice, but we really have been kicking this around for a while. Decided yesterday on our weekly call that yes, we're going to do it. And I just said, you know what, let's do it tomorrow. Let's just do it tomorrow. Let's get this thing running. No time to start like the present. And here we are. So appreciate all of that. Appreciate all the questions. Thank you so much for your participation. Hope you found this to be helpful. Again, keep an eye out. We're going to have a Q&A way that if you can't make this call, I still want to answer your questions, and you can still get a ton out of it, because again, the vast majority of people are going to listen to the recording. And I think that's just life these days. That's how we do it, right? We do it on our own time. So, all right, everybody. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time. Thanks, Ryan. And we will talk to you next week.